Today's math lesson is lesson 10.6, problem solving with 2 and 3 dimensional shapes. The objective is I can solve problems using reasoning. In last chapter, we learned about 2-dimensional shapes like the square, the triangle, and the circle. We know that these are 2-dimensional shapes because they are flat. So they go in the column where it says 2-dimensional shapes. This chapter, we've learned about 3-dimensional shapes, like the cylinder, the sphere, the cone, and the cube. These shapes are 3D because they are solid, and they also look like shapes and objects that can be found around our house, like a cylinder or a can of soda, a sphere or a ball, a cone or an ice cream cone, and a cube or a box. Open your packet to page 433 and draw the 2-dimensional shapes and write them in this line, in this category, and then draw the 3-dimensional shapes in this side. Once you've drawn your shapes, turn to page 434. You'll need a pencil, and you'll see that on page 434 there are a bunch of different shapes. There are 2-dimensional shapes and there are 3-dimensional shapes. You need to put a circle around the 2-dimensional shapes, or the shapes that are flat, and then you need to put an X over the shapes that are 3-dimensional or solid. Once you've circled or X'd all of the shapes, you'll move on to page 435. On page 435, you'll need a blue and red colored pencil or crayon to complete the page. On page 435, you're going to look at all the shapes that are here, and you're going to color all of the 2-dimensional shapes red and all of the 3-dimensional shapes blue. Once all your shapes are colored, you'll move on to page 436. For number 3, on page 436, you need to draw a flat 2D shape, like the square, the triangle, or the circle. For number 4, you'll need to draw a solid 3D object. So a shape of an object that has one of these shapes. It could be a can of soda, or a can of soup, or a party hat, or a box. You need to draw the object that looks like the 3D shape.